Hello, everyone. This is Creating with Your Spiritual Universe, and I'm your host, Roger Baines. And thank you for joining us one more time for another rendition and another video. Feel free to catch us on Facebook, our Facebook group, creatingwithyourspiritualuniverse.com, along with our page by the same name. You can also visit our website if you care to take a look at some of things we have there, including services at creatingwithyourspiritualuniverse.com or CWYSU.com. All right. So what is on the agenda for today? Today I'm guided to talk about, how we can connect better with each other in relationships and in all sorts of walks of life. And it's not that difficult, I can assure you, because we all share more similarities with each other than we do differences. Though if you look around at the information that is thrown out there, you might think a little differently. But once you hold it to scrutiny and take a good look, you'll see that it does not take much for us to really get along and understand each other a little better. And one of the tools that I'm going to talk about today, well, it's the only one I want to talk about today because it's jam-packed with really good stuff. A man by the name of Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages. And I can tell you, this is one of those typical, typically thought of relationship books. But I can tell you this, that if you know, and I've read this book and I have applied it in my life, it works. Okay. And if you apply these simple theory, simple things that once you hear about them, oh yeah, you'll go, oh yeah, I'm like that, or yeah, I was with someone who liked those things as well. But if we really apply them, and they're very simple to apply, you'll find that you'll hit the sweet spot of what it, of how to really have a nice, fulfilling, harmonious relationships. And even when things happen and troubles come, you'll be able to sort of, troubleshoot situations and speak with someone, because you'll be able to connect with them the way they connect best with themselves and with other people. And if you have a partner that's doing that with you and you're doing that with them, it's a very, very great start and foundation for a really good relationship, and not just a romantic, intimate one, but just general relationships as well. So what is Gary Chapman's book about? And since then, there are a few which I'll mention at the end of the broadcast here. And according to Gary, there are 5 ways we express and experience love. And I'm going to highlight and focus more on intimate relationships here. But you're smart. You can see how this carries out to other kinds of relationships as well. And the first of these 5 things is gift giving. The second is quality time. The third is physical touch. That's mine. And then there are acts of service, or otherwise known as devotion. And number 5, words of affirmation. Now, every person has one of these that they have as their primary means of receiving love. If they receive that primary mean, then to them, on a conscious and a subconscious level, you are connecting with them and showing love in the way the way that they most can receive it and feel that you care for them. Okay? So I'll give you an example of why this is important. A lot of times we get into relationships with a person and we have been taught what you ought to do or what you should do or how you should be with someone you really, really like, how you should treat them. And we have all these courtesies that we are taught, and they're all good. One of the things that we're culturally not taught, however, is that these particular things that we're, are boxed up and packaged for us are not always ideal for every person that we meet. So a person will go into a relationship, have an idea of what they should be in a relationship, what they should do, and all of this that they've brought in from the outside without ever considering what the other person needs to feel wanted, loved, cherished, and adored. And this is very important. And this is why I love this book. Because I'll give you an example of how I have used it. Now, when you first start in any kind of relationship, and again, I said I'll focus on the intimate side of a relation of this particular phenomenon. You might start with a relationship and you might not want to just the first day, first week start talking about love and all of that. That might be over the top. You might not be there, or the other person might not be there. And frankly, most of the time you're not there in the beginning. You have to learn about the person, see if you're actually compatible. And that takes time and just being together. All right? So how do you learn this about a person without talking about these very, very, very touchy subjects like going into love a week or two after just dating that person? You don't have to. Here's how I've done it. The first thing I do is I observe after 2 or 3 weeks, that person is going to perform either one of these things or a few of them. They're either going to give you a gift or give you gifts or want to spend quality time, or they might be into really being affectionate and into physical touch or acts of service or words of affirmation. They might be, you'll know, because whatever their primary way of feeling loved and cared for, whatever that is, that's what they'll do with you. That's what you'll see coming out of them towards you on a regular basis. Okay? That's what you'll see coming out towards you. So you might get someone they'll just, every week you're getting something from, they're giving you something. And this is all on a subconscious basis. They're not doing it because they want you to do the same and such. It's just the way that they display how they feel about you. And the best way they know is the way they feel best when that is given to them. Whichever one of these that kind of resonates with them. And then if it's not yours, you shouldn't become disappointed that you're not getting affection in the way that you see best, unless you both share the same. You should see that as a cue that that's how they feel loved or cared for. And then after you know that, you start displaying that. You start doing that for them. And then somewhere down the line, you can bring this into conversation and talk about it. And then if you talk about it and you express that you've noticed that that's what they do, and it's a beautiful thing, they're going to appreciate that you're actually noticing things that they're doing. And I guarantee you, as in my case, it'll be your case too, they'll want to know what you need to feel loved and appreciated and cared for. They'll ask you. So, and then from there, you can then start to really share with each other, and come into alignment with each other. Okay, because a lot of times people get into relationships and they bring in the old teachings, they bring it to a relationship, and they put it cookie cutter right in the middle of the relationship, and then there's this rift that eventually happens where this person go, you know, my partner doesn't appreciate me. They don't do things for me. They don't spend time with me. And you'll hear the answers of what's important to them in the grief or the complaint. And then the other person will go, I get them flowers all the time. I do things for them. I don't know what they're talking about. I think about them all the time. And the problem is not that they're not doing anything for each other. They're completely missing the point. They're missing the sweet spot of the other person. They're missing each other's sweet spot. So they may be giving quality time to a person who puts more importance in acts of service. Okay, so let's go through what all of these mean. And I suggest that you get the book. Gift giving, that one is self-explanatory. Person comes in, they they'll give you, maybe they'll get a nice shirt for you that they saw. They'll get something that they think, he needs this. I think I'll just buy this for him. And you'll see this happening from a person whose value is in that. And please don't judge any of these. This is just how that person's wired subconsciously. And I know gift giving is one of they want gifts all the time. They're greedy. Well, no, that's how they're wired subconsciously. And they don't necessarily need you to go out and buy something. Just on your walk, you pick a few flowers, wild flowers for them, and bring it back and give it to them. That's that's just as satisfying as bringing home something that you bought from the store. It's even more satisfying because it says that you took time to think about them and you used your creative energy to find something. You just didn't break into the wallet, which is easy to do, and just buy something. That's easy. But to think of someone when you're doing something else and then find something for them just impromptu, that's even more of a satisfying thing. At least it is for me. And of course, quality time is one of them. Quality time is again self-explanatory. You take time. Quality time is you taking time for that person specifically. Nothing else is roped into that time. You're not on the computer while you're with them during that time. You're not off doing 3 or 4 things while you're with them and then thinking that that's quality time. That person's not going to see that as quality time, and it is truly not. I'm just going to be frank about it. Quality time is you spend time doing the things that they love to do. And some people, that's what their primary love is from the person that they care for. And then, of course, I said the physical touch is one, and someone that's physical is very affectionate. This is a person that will likely want a hug rather than a kiss on the cheek. This is a person that would probably stay really close to you. They'll probably touch you every time they talk. I'm a toucher. And it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just a habit. And and because I'm that way, it doesn't raise any flags or alarm, because even in normal conversation, I will tend to be very expressive with my hands, and I'll touch people on the hand or on the shoulder and such like, because that's how I'm wired, and that's the thing that shows me that someone cares, when they're affectionate. And then the other one is acts of service, and I think this one we'll get into a little bit more than all the other ones, because this is one that might need a little more clarification. An act of service is you come home or you're out and you just do things for that person. Oh, you go to your partner, you go, don't worry about the front yard today. I'm going to take care of that. I know you like to do that on Saturday. You look really tired. You need to just sit, relax. Here, have a glass of water or juice. I'm going to take care of that for you. Kick your legs up. That's an example of an act of service. Another act of service is, you know what? I want you to have a spa. I know how much you love that, and I've got it all figured out. I got the perfect place. I'm going to drive you. I'm going to take you there. And when you get out and you just in La La Land, you don't have to worry about driving, because I'm going to drive you home and you're just going to get to relax the entire day. That's another example of an act of service. And for some people, acts of service is how they feel most loved. And that's also called the acts of service or devotion. And then the last of these is words of affirmation. Some people need to hear, get complimented so that they feel appreciated. And this is how they feel most loved. So if you know this about your partner, it's going to help you to connect with them. And when they do something and you really want to show appreciation, you might do some other things, but you make sure that you do the one thing that shows them that you really love them in their language. Because this is what we're doing here. We are communicating with our friends, our partners, and people in our lives in the language that they most appreciate. In the language that they most appreciate. Okay? So if we take the time to do this, we'll find that we'll have better relationships, because you just don't apply this to intimate relationships. You can apply this principle in all other kinds of relationships. Gary Chapman has written other books. 5 love languages for singles. 5 love languages of children. So imagine if you have children, how you can better connect with them by knowing what shows your children that you care the most. What act can you do for your son or your daughter that tells them that you really care? And so it's even easier with children, because children are very transparent. They tell you what they like, tell you what they like to do, and they don't have any barriers or any built-in social preconceived notions, or as much as adults do. So knowing that about your child will help you connect better. And there's a few that he has written here that you can just take a look at. Just Google that, and you'll be able to take a look at them. Because at the end of the day, how we connect with each other and how we love each other in every way, shape, and form will make this a better world. We'll be able to connect with each other, and if we connect with each other, we'll connect with nature, and that will lead to us really connecting to animals, and we won't be as heartless and cold and as flat out dangerous to animals and everything on this planet as we have been. Because I will tell you this, as my mentor says, until we are harmonized amongst ourselves, nature, and until we iron out the relationship with the animal kingdom, we're not going to ever have harmony here on this planet. This is something we have to do, because we are the intelligent life forms here, or at least physical, at least intellectually. It is our responsibility as caretakers of this planet, and it all starts with us. Thank you so much, And I hope you liked the video, and I hope that you get something that you can apply to your life that will enrich yourself and all those around you. And remember to defy the taboo against you finding out who you truly are.